Okay, this is Wednesday now, I think, and Monday, Andrea and I picked up our spreader. Now, this thing is upside down because that's how you store it. So as soon as I'm going to put it on, I'll of course put it right side up, but I wanted to show you a couple of things on it. And first of all, this is a PTO spreader, which means that there's the PTO connection there, and there's the PTO shaft right there. So that'll connect into the back of the tractor, and so when you turn that on, that is what spins this thing. And so there are two, let's see if I can get a better. There are two openings right here where you can have the seed or the fertilizer or whatever come out of. And it is adjusted by this right here. So I think the numbers are actually on the other side. Yeah, hold on. Okay, there's no numbers on the side, but it has on the spread chart here. And yeah, this is upside down, so I'm sorry. So when I do the video of it actually on the tractor, I'll show this right side up. But here's the spreading chart here. And then it's got a bunch of numbers right there and a bunch of stuff over here. But what it does is it gives you a guide on when you do a spread like this, you have to have several factors when you broadcast spread like this. One is the speed that you're going, because the faster you go, the less material you're going to put on the ground. So obviously the slower you go, the more you're going to have on the ground. The second thing is the amount that those things are opened. So obviously the more they're open, the more material can go through. And so what that chart does is it tells you that if you're planting wheat, for instance, and you're going 5 miles an hour and you need to have it, I think, like a 5 or a 6 or something, and then it tells you how many pounds per acre that thing's going to sling out of it. And it'll be with a little trial and error and everything, so that'll be fun when Andrea and I get to start doing that. And now the spread on this, they say, is about 26 feet. So I'm assuming 13 feet on either side of the tractor. If this was fertilizer, it could be almost twice that, because they said it would be about 40 feet. So one of the first things we're going to do when we do this is we're going to field test it, no pun intended, I'm going to turn it on. Andrea's going to be behind me, and we're going to see how far it's going to be slinging this stuff. To whether the 26 feet is a 20'6" in diameter or a 26-foot radius, because that is a lot different. And what I'm showing you now is the entire spring we've been dry as a bone, and then now it's completely reversed course, and then now it just can't stop raining. So it's Wednesday now. What we want to try to do is seed this on Saturday. And then our neighbor is also wanting to get some seed for his field, which I told him that I could do for his field. And so as a barter, no, you're not going out. As a barter, what he's going to do is he said that he was going to build me a drag mat. And so he owns a metal fabrication shop, so he could probably do that in about 5 seconds. And so the plan is we're going to seed this, and then we're going to go back. I'm going to go back with the drag mat and drag it to try to get the buckwheat into the ground a little bit. The farmer that passed away, one of his employees, there was a chance that they could have seeded the fields for using an actual grain driller, which is what the large commercial farmers use. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. And so that's a long story, and I'm not getting into why right now. But that was plan A. And then plan B was me actually using the spreader. Now, ironically, Monday, when we were actually in the middle of purchasing the spreader, my neighbor called and said that, he goes, hey, they might be able to do this for us. But and then Andrea and I all the way home are like, did we buy this thing and not actually need it? But it looks like we're going to use it. But that's the type of piece of equipment that even if we're not going to use it right now, we are going to use it because we need to lime and we need to do other stuff. The other thing I wanted to show real quick is we got all the turmeric out today. We wanted to make sure that the lows were going to be 60 or above before we took the turmeric out. And it looks like the lows from here on out are going to be about 65 or above, which will be good for the turmeric. So Andrea went ahead and watered them a little bit, but now they're in the shade cloth area, where this is one of the shade cloths we used for the greenhouse when it was here before it got destroyed by our little mini blizzard. And as you can see, it's not in the best shape in the world, but the only thing we have is a shade cloth on it. So it's obviously stable enough for that. And then I went ahead and just tied it down. The shade cloth is not nearly going to be as bad as the greenhouse as far as wind is concerned, because some wind can go through it. So I didn't have to strap it up as much. But can't remember if I showed on video or not, but here is the garlic prep area, or not prep area, the curing area. So what I have is I have 28 feet of 2-foot row deep, 3-row high for curing. And the initial idea was to do that on that side and then do it on the north side if necessary. I'm hoping we're going to have enough garlic to cure on just this side. Now we do have our hog panels that I cut, which are over here. And the hog panels are 3 feet high instead of a little more than 4 feet high. And so that's what I used to cut to make the little chicken barrier on the gates, which I can show that real quick. But here's the one that I haven't used yet, so it's just laying on the ground right here. And then of course I still have some 1.5 inch mesh. I wanted to use 1.5 inch mesh for doing that because the necks of the garlic can get pretty big. And last year when we did it, we got, I would say 90% of the garlic we're able to fit were larger than that 1.5 inch mesh. So it was pretty good. Went ahead and let the sisters out into the chicken tractor. Chicken tractor is getting a little unruly, so I'm gonna let them do some weeding for me. And so Lucian's standing on top of the bar right there. So anyway, here is the gate, and then here are the hog panels, the bottom part, because the bottom part of the hog panels, they're every 8 inches vertically, but they're every 2 inches horizontally. And so we have our little metal zip tie thing, which worked really well for that. And so that's 304 steel, which is really high quality stainless steel. They also had 316 stainless steel, which is like surgical stainless steel, but I figured that this would be good enough. And so there's the sisters right there having some good old sister time. The locusts are also out right now, so if any locusts get in there, they won't last too long because the sisters love locusts. So the good thing with the buckwheat is that, dude, I'm trying to do a video. Good thing with the buckwheat is that the chickens can eat the buckwheat. So we get the buckwheat growing, then I'll be able to go into the field and yoink buckwheat out randomly, and I can give it to them. Now I'm coming out here right now, so I wanted to show you one thing. The farmer last year, when he planted, his crop back here was peanuts. And so we were out in the field the other day doing some soil testing. So we went into some random spots in the backyard, or in the field back here, to do soil testing, which is, the soil's drying right now. So we can take it to Clemson and get soil test on it to see what the condition of the soil is. Well, we found these all over the place, and come to find out, that's peanuts. So a lot of the, you know, whenever they do their farming, a certain amount, you know, just doesn't get harvested. So everything that looks like weed out there, or weeds out there, is actually peanuts. So what the goal is if it can quit raining long enough, is hopefully we can do this on Saturday. And so that'll be a good time, because I'll be on the tractor and Andrea will be filming. And so that'll be good. So this week, from Saturday to Monday, we ended up with 3.5 inches of rain. And we haven't had that much rain in a long time. And I would say we haven't had 3.5 inches of rain for about, I'm thinking about 2 months maybe. And normally we get like 4 to 6 inches a month in the springtime. And it's just been incredibly dry here. So, oh, and I forgot to mention, I might have panned around. Our compost is stalled out. So we think it's a combination of not enough brown and too wet. But after we get the buckwheat seeded, and hopefully before we start harvesting garlic, I want to get on that. But anyway, I wanted to show off the new tractor toy a little bit. And then it looks like it's going to be used here in a couple of days. So I get to figure out how to use this broadcast spreader correctly, which will be fun and good times. And evidently Sherlock is ready to go in, so I guess I'm done. There's one other thing I wanted to show for people like me that didn't know what buckwheat looked like. This on the left here, this is regular wheat. This is the wheat that we go to the seed store and buy for 50 pounds, and that's what we use for our fodder system for the sisters. And then here's the buckwheat right here. And regular wheat is about $15 for 50 pounds at the feed store. Buckwheat is $45 for 50 pounds. Now you can get organic and non-GMO, but we don't have any of that around here. We would have to order it. And we were looking at ordering some organic buckwheat, but it was $113 for 50 pounds. And then it was going to be, because we had to order 5 bags, and then it was going to be another $100 shipping on top of that. Yes, Sherlock. What are you wagging your tail for? Yeah. He thinks it's dinner time. So I just wanted to show what the buckwheat seeds actually look like. And then here's the fodder system here. So going from down to up is the progression. And so the top one here, this is what will go to the sisters tomorrow. So that supplements their diet and getting wheat seeds.
Not to mention giving the seed was going to be...
Yeah, Andrea just mentioned that we were going to get the buckwheat if we were going the organic route from Johnny's, and she ordered seeds over a week ago and it still hadn't shipped yet. And we have a time frame to get that buckwheat down before the weeds take over back there, and then that whole area would have to get cultivated again. And we got that drop spreader at the same place where we got our tractor, and they said that the tiller that we have really isn't designed for like 5 acres. It's designed for small stuff, like when we do the garlic in the garden and all that, but it's not designed for 5 acres. And our tractor is not big enough to drag a big cultivator behind it. So we have to get this buckwheat in the ground in the next few days, or the weeds are going to start taking over. Good thing is, once we get the buckwheat in the ground, it'll start popping up really quick. So anyway, done yakking about that. This has been a completely wild week, because a week ago we thought the farmer was going to be planting peanuts again, and then now we're going to be planting buckwheat back here. So fun times, I guess.